think
So do
about
all of your directors give you this kind of you look so happy talking about this? This is obviously a pleasurable experience.
Yes.
Do you get to play this way most of the time when you're working?
Different roles allow for different amounts of it, and it also does matter with the director. I love to improvise. I love to give you entrances and exits. Okay, here's the scene. But Stephen, I've got actually an intro for the guy that's coming on before me, and I'm going to bang a drum, and here's what I'd be doing before, so I'm not going to be on stage yet because I'm back in the back locker room. I'm going to do that and come out. And he would go, okay. And then I got an exit. The song's over. Don't cut, because here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give you fat on the front. I'm going to give you fat on the back. The thing is, Steven started to see some of the stuff I was doing, and he liked some of it. And actually we said, okay, no, we're going to cover that. I like that. Now, whether he covers it or not, or it's in the film or not, doesn't matter. I'm doing that because if I get a lead in, something before we're about to, perform, then when I'm on in the real take doing what the take is, I'm behaving and I'm not acting. If I just start like, and go, it's, I can, sometimes you see, I've done it, you see other people do it, you see, oh, you're acting until you get warmed up. So I like to ramp up to it and figure out, know what my man will be doing beforehand, know what he's doing right after. If you had 15,000 feet of film in that mag, and we're going to roll for an hour, what would Dallas do for 1 full hour, uncut? Know that. For what it's worth, whether any of it's used or not, it's a great thing for me as an actor because you catch me behaving instead of acting. As far as the freedoms,
let's say you looked at a couple of the other films you did this year, of which you had so many.
Well,
Killer Joe,
some
Mud, or
Mud, for instance, such a beautifully written script by Jeff Nichols. Very little improvisation in it. But it wasn't. The things he said were the writing for this character was very specific, and it was beautifully written. And sometimes he was a big dreamer, yet he was very innocent. He was incredible romantic. He was an example of unconditional love. He was a Labrador that would keep going back to this girl no matter how many times she kicked him off the porch, and never blame her, and always come back and go, one day you're going to take me back. Oh, you're going to take me back. It kicked me out again? Okay. She wasn't right for her now. I'll be back. Didn't matter if he did it 10,000 times. He was never coming back going, let's play tit for tat. It was always like, no, I know I love you, and I'll come back to you on your doorstep for the rest of my life. There were different ways of expression and variations of expression that I played with, but it was clearly defined where it was like, no, this doesn't need more. This doesn't need for me to expound on more. It doesn't need more words here. It actually, maybe in that film you go, this moment, we thought we needed to say all this. We don't need to say any of this. I need to sit here. Get him sitting by the fire in his own thoughts. That's saying more, because we already kind of covered some of that in another scene, and we didn't know we were going to get that in that scene. Let's just sit on it.
So I'm getting the sense of you at the sort of point in your career where you've taken a little bit more charge of your life. A lot of actors. I talked to Sandra Bullock about this.
Yeah.
She said, she went along for the ride for a long time, and then she started to realize that she kind of needed to protect herself a little more. Did that happen to you, where you kind of sort of made a shift? It seems like you did.
I mean, there's obviously been some sort of shift. What I do need to make clear, because it's been thrown at me many times, like, oh, that was then, this is now.
Well, it may be that you've simply adapted to the way the industry is right now, which is happening to a lot of people.
Where they go, oh, welcome back, or whatever, and I'm like, what do you...
You didn't go anywhere.
And they go, oh, romantic comedies. Romantic comedies get sloughed off in an unfair way.
Actually, they're very difficult.
They're really difficult. They're a lot more difficult than a lot of these movies we're talking about right now.
It's hard to make them well.
The buoyancy they have to work does not allow an actor or the filmmaker you don't delve into the reality and humanity. If you do, you sink the ship. It's over. You know, it's over after 12 pages if you handle it like you really mean it. Anyway, I mean, protect self. I felt the opposite of protectionary. I felt much more like expressing myself. I felt much more like I don't feel like asking permission. I'm not asking permission. I'm not auditioning. I'll audition. I don't mean literally auditioning. I mean like I'm not auditioning. What? I'm gonna go do my thing. And I've done work. I've really enjoyed it. It is a privilege to work in this job. But I want to do something that scares me. I want to be scared. I want that good fear where I'm like I was telling you about the dance. There's two types of fear. There's the one where you're scared, don't go around the corner. I hear there's bad guys. Well, don't go around the corner. That'd be foolish, right? Because if they got guns, don't do it. There's the other kind of fear where you go, I don't know what's around that corner, but I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know I can do it. I don't know how, but I know I can. So I'm engaged into it.
What's the role you're working on right now, the one you lost all the weight for?
Dallas Buyers Club. The guy's name is Ron Woodruff. It's based on a true story in 1987. This male who's heterosexual, contacted HIV. And at that time in 1987, you get HIV, and you're a straight man. They must have mixed up your blood samples. That's some Rock Hudson, booga booga shit. And that ain't, what are you talking about? He did not. He was in great denial about it. And then once he understood that he had it, the only drug that the FDA allowed at that time was AZT, and to treat HIV and AIDS patients. They got him on AZT, and he was one of the first to notice I'm not living healthier, and I'm noticing that people I know that have HIV aren't living longer either. This AZT attacks everything in the immune system. Yeah, it attacks the HIV virus, but it attacks everything else. There's got to be a better way. He finds out about a guy in Mexico who's dealing some homeopathic medications. He's no longer got a license in America. Goes down to Mexico, stays in this guy's clinic for 6 months, gets a lot healthier. Ding, goes off in his mind. I got a good business I can do here. Doc, how much of this can I take with me? He starts smuggling stuff back, not only from Mexico, but all over the world, and sells them out of his apartment. To who? Gay, male, HIV positive people. So he's a dealer. That's the Buyers Club. So it's got many originalities, but two of them are, I haven't seen the subject of AIDS told from the POV of a heterosexual man, which, as we know, it can affect. And two, it's not the Crusader movie. He doesn't come waving the white flag of I'm the face of AIDS. Come on, I'm going to help. He's a businessman.
A little bit like Schindler's List or something.
He's trying to get rich. He's trying to survive himself. And in doing that, he doesn't know it, but he's turned out to be an activist. And he's fighting the powers that be, and he's taking it to Washington. He's taking it to San Francisco, and he's saying, you got to allow us to medicate ourselves because what you're giving us, we're going to, like you say, we're going to die anyway. Please approve these medications. I'm sitting here with a bunch of people that have been taking the medications I've been giving them. And they've had HIV since 1986, and they're still here. And there's not one person in the room that did the mainstream drugs or AZT that's here anymore because they're buried. And they'd be here to testify, but they can't. And you're still telling me that you're not going to allow me to take these drugs, and he can't, she can't? Right here. It's a great story.
So, are you still shooting that?
We start Sunday.
Aha. So you had, how much weight did you lose?
I lost 38 pounds.
And you were thin to begin with.
I was 182 in Magic Mike and 143. It's been good. It's really, really been a wonderful. One of the things I love about acting is I get to travel. Not just literally, but to get to travel, mind and body. And this has been it's been hard, but for me, if I know something's inevitable, which as soon as I said, I've got to be true to this character and get down to a certain weight, if I didn't, I'd be embarrassed. right? As soon as I said that's inevitable, then I just got relative really quickly. Basically, I'm hungry. Well, look, I'm not starving in Ethiopia. I'm not in a concentration camp. I've got the means to go get really nice fresh fish to eat. I've got a wife who's cooking it for me. I'm doing all right. So it turned into much more of a spiritual journey for me. It's been a fast. And with that has come, your mind gets sharper. You clear things out.
Do you give up alcohol as a big
I
calorie
drink my red wine.
You do? Okay.
I'd probably cut out what little food I get to make sure I get my glass of red. That fruit juice is good for you. Yeah.
And Paperboy is another one that's a little scary. I saw that in Cannes.
Yeah.
And the actors just seemed so admiring of what Lee Daniels allowed them to do.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
Well, Lee and I had a thing which is basically, look, man, he's just going to be a truth meter. Saying if I'm seeing, if I only gets truth, I'm going to bring it up. And Lee likes to, once you get a truth, now, surprise the hell out of me. This is him speaking. It's just surprising. Try one, whether it's on your head, whether it's backwards, whether it's all of a sudden in Spanish and you're supposed to be saying English, whatever. Do something that just surprises. So he likes that. Get it and pop out of it. Come back to it, pop out of it. And it was a very vital experience because Lee is very much, each moment is about that moment. And then he puts those moments together. He's not necessarily a linear thinker, linear narrative thinker. You know what I mean? As you can see with that movie, it's not a linear the story, the crime story, becomes on the back burner pretty quickly. You know, it becomes much more character study very quickly.
Absolutely. He let you all have. There's some great stuff in there. And then the other one that I'm curious about is the TV one or the
True
Netflix.
Detective.
Yeah, because you guys are sort of taking that on yourselves. And Kerry McConnaughey is an exciting
Yes, he is.
guy.
We just sat down the other night.
How long have you known Woody?
I've known Woody since Ed TV.
Yeah,
which is,
I thought.
I think, was it 96, 7?
Back in the day.
We met then, and just one of those people that, you know, within an hour, you'd have thought we were brothers. And Woody and I connect on a deep spiritual level and a deep humor level, and the two usually go hand in hand. You know.
So where is this project? How far away is it from becoming something real?
Well, we start shooting in middle of January, and it's 8 episodes for HBO, so we'll be down there shooting for 4 months. It's very, very exciting stuff. The words this guy, writer Nick wrote, I mean, it just...
Pizzolato?
Yeah, it just, I mean, it's like knives. It's like you can almost see the blood coming out of the gums between the teeth of the script.
And the other question I had for you was what's going forward? Lincoln Lawyer is another one, which I loved. I just love that movie, and I wished it was a TV series.
Well,
not that you would necessarily do that.
Series. I wish it was.
Or an HBO series.
I wish it was a franchise.
Well,
I know.
It didn't do
as
well as you kind of needed it to do.
No, it did, because it didn't cost.
Okay. So you think
For
there's
instance,
a chance?
Sahara made 63, but it needed to make 70 because the budget was so high.
Right.
This one we made for a price in the 30s, and it made 57. It did well enough. I mean, it did well enough where after opening weekend, we thought we were going to be getting the calls of, depends on the paper, man. What are you doing in the fall? You know what I mean? It hadn't happened. We have been working on amalgamating the Harry Bosch character from other novels with Mickey Haller character to make another story.
That's a smart move.
I'm excited about that. If those scripts came in and they were good, I would be wonderfully open to that. I love that character.
That could work.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Okay, good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure.